Well, guys, I did not expect this today, but to my surprise, and I think to everybody's surprise, Creature have went and dropped the roadmap, the 2025 roadmap for Session Skate Sim. We now know what we can expect to be coming to Session for the rest of 2025. Hopefully they stick to the roadmap. We're going to watch the video here. We're going to go through it. It's only 40 seconds long. We're going to watch it through, and then we're going to see if we can spot some new things in the gameplay, because there's a couple things that I think do look pretty good, and we're also going to go through every little section of the roadmap, talk a little bit about what we can expect, but let's just watch it first. So one thing that I noticed with this trailer, first off, they say Session Skate Sim is back, which is kind of funny because they know themselves that they have been absent for a pretty long time now. But one of the main things I noticed with the gameplay in this trailer is they're doing a lot of 360s, so clearly they have done some sort of rotation overhaul, because there we have like a kickflip backside 360. So we have the roadmap here. We will pause this and we will go over it in a minute. Yeah, and then all the pro skaters, blah, blah, blah. But we're getting to the end here. It says more info on Session Socials June 3rd, 2025. But let's quickly just run through the gameplay here and point out a few things. So the first thing is, like I said, there's a lot of 360s. We have this kind of 270. This is a 270, but there's a lot of rotations. And one thing I noticed is the character animations just look a little bit smoother. With physical animation now, if you do this trick, and I will I'll replicate this trick now and see if we can spot some differences. The main thing that I notice here is, yeah, it just looks a little bit more fluid. I'm assuming that physical animation is on, but it looks like maybe it's out of experimental settings and they've actually been working on it to make it look a little bit more realistic and less like pool noodle arms, spaghetti arms if you'd prefer that. So yeah, I think there's just a general kind of, animation overhaul to some extent. Of course, we have another 360 here. We have this, what I think is a fakie full cab. Could be a nollie front three, but again, you can see as the character lands, it just looks a lot smoother than the animation that we currently have. Now here's another clip that I spot a little bit of a difference. The hard flip just looks slightly different. I'm gonna see again if I can replicate this currently to see if there is any difference with the flick, but the hard flip just looks like there's just something that looks like the way the hard flip spins is slightly different. And then again, we got a nice kickflip backside 360. Again, they're obviously for some reason really want to focus on 360 rotations. Okay, so here is the roadmap. We have early summer, we have end of summer, and we have autumn. So we got a lot of stuff here. But again, a lot of it's kind of vague. And until we get more information in June, we're not really going to know exactly what these things mean. The first update we're getting early summer, so hopefully in a couple months, is the foundation update. Improved fluidity, which I think we saw in the gameplay. It looked a little bit more fluid. But again, it's kind of a vague thing. Improved fluidity. Camera refactor. Don't have a clue what that means. Hopefully this means that they've been working on the gameplay camera, because there is a few issues with Session's gameplay camera. It doesn't always keep up with the skater, and it can kind of mess up a trick or mess up a line. This could also mean that maybe they've got some camera improvements in the replay editor. I'm not sure, but I think the gameplay camera is the main thing that definitely needs some work. And right underneath that is physical animation update, which I think was pretty much what we were seeing. Obviously they've just again made it a bit smoother, made it a bit less spaghetti like, a bit less wobbly arms. It doesn't clip as much, hopefully. And finally, for the foundation update, we have flow and friction first pass. So obviously they are going to do a couple passes at this. This is just the kind of first iteration of this update. I don't know how different flow is from fluidity. I don't know what separates those two things, but the friction part is interesting. Sort of grind friction and make grind friction a little more realistic. You do have a setting currently that you can turn up and down your grind friction, but I don't know. I guess they're kind of working to make that a little bit more realistic, or perhaps it's kind of more friction when you land tricks and when you revert and power slide and things like that. I don't know. But speaking of reverts and power slides, if we head on to the flow update, which is coming the end of summer, first thing is reworked power slides and reverts. This I'm actually pretty glad to see, because as it currently stands, I think the power slides can be done better. I think that a lot of the time when you just try and power slide, you bail. If you're going too fast, you try a power slide, your skater just bails, and sometimes you just power slide way too much and you end up just reverting. So it'll be nice to have power slides that that you can actually kind of hold and your character is going to stay on the board. So I'm pretty excited for this. One of the main things in the end of summer update is of course the Goofy stance. As far as I could tell, the skitter was regular through that entire thing. We had a couple switch tricks maybe, but it looked like the skitter stance was regular, so we didn't see any Goofy gameplay yet, but I imagine we're going to get that down the line. So Goofy stance, which for people that don't know, currently there is no Goofy stance. Goofy stance is just switch regular animations, so they're going to give actual dedicated Goofy animations. We also have flow and friction pass, so I guess that's the final pass since it doesn't say second pass, so I guess they're just giving this 2 kind of iterations. Again, I don't really know what that is. That's kind of vague. I guess we'll just have to wait until there's more info. I can't really say any more about what flow and friction really means, but you guys can work out and let me know in the comments. In-game news, this is something that they have been kind of pushing a lot recently. The last update has a few kind of pop-ups of news. Just seems that any kind of DLC news or any kind of update news is now going to be in the game, so maybe there's going to be some sort of UI overhaul. I don't think anyone's really excited about in-game news, but it's obviously something they want to do. They want to keep all the information within the game itself. And finally, new DLC, which to be honest, I'm surprised we're not seeing a DLC sooner. Kind of would expect them to drop a DLC with the early summer update because it's been a while and they're usually pretty quick with their DLCs, but the fact that they are keeping this to the end of summer makes me think that potentially it's going to be a pretty big DLC. Hopefully it's going to be a big one, similar to like the water park, which is quite big, or the schoolyard, which is another quite big DLC. So hopefully this is going to be a pretty major one. And then finally, the autumn update, the Skate Core update. Again, it's a pretty vague kind of buzzwordy. It says Skate Core overhaul. So to me, I think this is pretty much just they're going to just maybe not rework, but they're going to go all the way back to like the kind of base core of skating in this game, and they're going to just improve it. We really don't know what that means. I guess it just means that the game is going to feel, flow, and skate better, and that's really all we can hope for. And now this last one is definitely a big one and an interesting one. Now this doesn't by any means mean multiplayer. I don't think that this is any sort of tease for multiplayer. I think it's pretty much confirmed we're not getting multiplayer right now, so don't get your hopes up that way. But it does say in-game social features. Now, there is a possibility that this could mean that they're going to bring back the kind of social, almost multiplayer games that they had in the early version of Session. They had a game of Skate, they had like a Filmer mode, so it wasn't like true multiplayer, it was kind of social multiplayer features, I suppose. They could potentially be bringing this back, so there's a form of multiplayer that isn't free skate, because they've said that free skate doesn't work with the physics of this game, basically. So I don't really know what this means. There could be like an in-game chat, so you can chat with your friends, maybe you can join parties. If we can't actually play multiplayer together, these features are kind of pointless. So I've been thinking more about what this possible in-game social feature could be. I feel like it's basically just going to be a way that you can share your clips within the game. You can probably react to other people's clips and things like that. Potentially more likely going to be that than any sort of multiplayer gameplay feature. They're similar to what Skate 3 did and what I think the new Skate is going to do, where it's designed to kind of just share your creations, your clips, and your screenshots with other people. So it's probably most likely going to be that, but we really don't know yet. But overall, in terms of this roadmap, I think a lot of it is very vague. A lot of it is very kind of just buzzwords to make people excited. I didn't expect them to drop all the information in this trailer. It's just a teaser trailer. They do say that there's more information on June 3rd. I will do a video on that when that information drops. But overall, it looks like they're just going to improve the gameplay and improve the way the game feels. And I, for one, am pretty stoked to see that. I think this seems like much more of an achievable and toned down roadmap to what we've seen previously from these guys. This seems more like they actually will achieve this. And the fact the first update is early summer, which is pretty much just around the corner, and they're going to drop more information in like a week's time. So I'd say this first update is pretty much ready to go. We're going to see this really soon. But at the end of the day, this just gives us some sort of hope, and I think it's going to keep people pretty hyped for the future of Session Skate Sim, at least for now anyway. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this roadmap. Are you hyped? Are you disappointed? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hop on the session. I'm going to try and remake the clips from this trailer, see if we can notice any sort of difference that it might not stand out to us right now. So let's hop on over the session. Okay, so here we are in session, and we're at the Pyramid Ledges, and we're going to try and recreate that first clip. So I'm pretty sure this guy is regular, so this is a nollie back tail 270 out. So now let's try and film this the same way. So it's a long lens, it's zoomed in quite a bit. Okay, I think that's close enough. We will compare the two clips at the end here, but let's go and recreate the second clip of the trailer. So second clip is this Nolly front 3 at the high school. Might as well pull out a steezy line on the way there. Hit El Toro. Never mind. Okay, that's annoyed me. I feel like I gotta hit El Toro. There we go. Nice kickflip back 50. Alright, so... in the trailer, it's kind of like a moving shot, but I don't think I'm gonna get this as smooth as they get it, because they always have great filming in the trailers. Okay, sweet. So the third clip is this line. We get a big flip, then a switch front 360 on flat. This one's actually quite hard to get on my settings. Okay, next up we got this clip at Pier 7, which is a hard flip Manny from 180. I think I'm going to have to turn my paw height up for this. I don't think I can hard flip into Manny with my current settings. Okay, so I had to turn up my paw height and turn down my gravity a bit, but I think that looked alright. Alright, so we're staying in San Francisco for the last trick, and it is this backside 360 kickflip over this barrier. Okay, now bear in mind my settings are different from the settings in the trailer. But anyway guys, thank you very much for watching, and please do let me know what you think of the roadmap. If you're hyped, if you're excited, if you're disappointed, whatever you're feeling, let me know in the comments below. And I don't know, I'm just glad we actually got some information from the devs, and I'm pretty excited to hear more information in June 3rd, but I will let you guys know. I will be there to drop a video when they drop more information. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next session vid. Peace.